There are a lot of useful things in EthrA that are surprisingly easy to miss. You can leave free gold and supplies behind within the first few minutes, completely overlook an entire combat arena, lose out on extra resources, and miss out on a profession that can increase your income. After spending more time in the playtest, here are 10 beginner tips I wish I knew before starting EthrA. Let's start with something you can take advantage of immediately. As soon as you spawn, don't immediately run outside. There's a couple of free items in the house that you can take advantage of, including 150 gold, 6 rations, potions, and other useful items. It's really easy to miss because the game doesn't stop or tell you to search around. That free gold can help you with your first few purchases, and the food and potions are obviously the useful ones you start fighting. So before heading out, check the rooms, look around the corners, and interact with anything that looks lootable. Some of the destinations in EthrA are surprisingly far apart, so instead of running everywhere at normal speed, use the speed boost provided by Veil. It makes traveling between towns, quest locations, and gathering areas much faster, especially when you're revisiting places you've already explored. Whenever you see a distant objective, activate the boost and save yourself the long walk. When you find the mission board, I recommend accepting everything that is currently available. You don't need to immediately focus on completing every quest. A lot of the mission board objectives involve resources or enemies that you'll naturally come across while exploring. You may pass berries that count toward a gathering mission, or run into goblins, other monsters connected to a quest. If the mission is active beforehand, your normal exploration and combat can work toward extra rewards in the background. The mission board isn't the only place where you can find quests. Talk to every NPC you come across because many of them have their own requests and rewards. You may already even have what they need. An NPC might ask for slime balls or another monster drop you collected earlier without realizing it would be useful. Speaking to everyone early can save you from selling an item and then discovering later that somebody needed it. There's an arena that the game doesn't really point out to you, and it's probably the best place to practice combat. You can climb the tower and use the arena to work on dodging, blocking, parrying, and landing counterattacks. It's also a really good place to practice using Bob and Veil together. You can test out orders, magic, positioning, and how to split an enemy's attention between both characters. On a side note, one thing to watch out for is leaving Veil outside for too long. Veil can't dodge and parry like Bob can, so Veil can get overwhelmed pretty quickly when enemies surround Veil. When that happens, put Veil back in the bag, move Bob somewhere safer, and bring Veil back out once you've repositioned. You really don't want to lose Veil at the start of a fight because you'll lose access to a big part of your magic damage. Fishing is another activity that can be surprisingly easy to miss. Look for the old man near the water and investigate his fishing area. Depending on the route you take, you can walk past a location without realizing there's an activity available out there. Fishing gives you another way to collect resources and also provides a relaxing break from all the combat and quests. I'm not going to show the entire route because finding these locations is part of the fun, but make sure you speak to NPCs near the water and check out anything that looks like a fishing spot. The graveyard is an area in the game that has valuable gear and resources scattered throughout. However, this area is crawling with the undead. If you find yourself struggling in this area, or the undead in general, try using Veil's magic, or infusing your sword with Veil's magic, as undead enemies take much more magical damage than they do physical damage. If you only fight them using Bob, the encounter may feel much slower and more difficult than it needs to be. Bring out Veil and use magic to take advantage of their weakness. This is also a good reminder to experiment whenever an enemy seems unusually strong. If your attacks appear ineffective, try changing your damage type instead of assuming you need better equipment. Some useful details like this are shared throughout the official EthrA Discord, which I'll link in the description. I'll also continue sharing anything useful I discover as the playtest develops. If you find yourself running low on potions during an extended fight with a group of enemies, or you're exploring far away from the village, you don't actually need to turn back and head to the nearest village. Check your crafting menu first. You might already have the materials needed to craft another health or mana potion without realizing it. And, if you're missing an ingredient, take a look around the area before leaving. Some of the materials you might need can be gathered while exploring, so you may be able to craft what you need and continue your journey. This can be especially helpful when you're deep into a quest or are far away from a merchant, since it can save you from unnecessary backtracking. So before leaving an area because you're low on supplies, check your inventory, look at the recipe requirements, and see if the materials you need are nearby. Endurance might be one of the easiest stats to underestimate, but it affects almost everything you do. More endurance gives more stamina, allowing you to attack longer, dodge more often, and run further before becoming tired. that makes both combat and exploration much more comfortable. Endurance also matters while gathering because mining ore and cutting trees down consumes stamina. A larger stamina pool lets you gather resources more efficiently. More materials can mean more items to sell, more gold to spend, and better access to gear, potions, and other consumables. So endurance doesn't only help you survive in fights, it can also improve your exploration, gathering, and overall progression. EthrA gives you several ways to improve your equipment. You can gather resources and sell them to merchants for gold, then use that gold to purchase gear and consumables. You can also collect materials for crafting and create equipment to the game's crafting systems. Or, if you prefer exploration, you can search hidden areas and chests for useful items and gear. One of the things I really liked about EthrA is that you aren't forced into one specific method of progression. You can buy equipment, sell resources, craft gear, or explore the world and find equipment naturally. So don't feel like you have to play the game a certain way. If you enjoy gathering and crafting, spend time collecting materials. If you enjoy exploring, go looking for hidden areas, enemies, and equipment. And if you'd rather earn gold and simply purchase upgrades, selling resources you collect can also help you progress. This becomes especially useful if you're struggling against a certain section of the game. Instead of repeatedly throwing yourself at the same enemy, take some time to improve your character. Upgrade your equipment, craft some consumables, explore somewhere else, and then come back stronger. And for the final and most important tip, have fun. Have fun with the game. One of the things I've been enjoying about this game is how many mechanics and little discoveries aren't immediately explained to you. And I'm sure there's still plenty of things I haven't found yet. So if you've been playing EthrA and you have a tip that I missed, leave it in the comments because I'd love to hear what everyone else has discovered. I'm also going to be covering more EthrA guides, tips, and gameplay, and updates on this channel, so if that sounds interesting, consider subscribing or not. And most importantly, don't worry about playing the game perfectly. Explore, experiment with the combat, try different ways of progressing, and just have fun with it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.